In the last 5 or 6 years, we've seen every year, year over year, a significant reduction in the number of felonies occurring. 2021 was a return. It's actually the lowest number of felonies charged in over a decade. And that is despite the fact that we've seen a greater than 3% annual increase in our population. So we would have anticipated a slight increase in crimes each year, and what we're actually seeing is quite the opposite. We're seeing a significant decline year over year over year. There's a lot of contributing factors. We've got great law enforcement partners, we've got great probation partners, the court gets it. It's a collective effort amongst the criminal justice partners to really differentiate between those that are truly dangerous and those that need help. Those that are dangerous, we're locking away where they can't commit those offenses. Those that need help, we're trying our best to provide that help, and as a result, they're not recidivating and committing additional crimes in our community. So there are 4 crimes that are every year make up at least 5% of total crimes. So drugs make up about 40% consistent year over year. Assaults make up 13, 14, sometimes 15% year over year. Next you have theft, which is about 5 to 7% of all of our felony charging. And then the one that kind of surprises everybody is actually felony DUI, which every year is between 5 and 6% of all felony charges. In 2020, we had a record high number of homicides charged, and that number was 26. Now, that's 26 too many, but 2021, by comparison, it was about 16 total cases. That amounts to, I think, 0.6% of all cases being filed. So no homicides. We're not seeing in Pinal County what's being reported in the media. We're not seeing that 30% increase, or sometimes higher in some of our major cities. We've actually, 2020 did see a significant increase, but 2021 saw that drop by almost 40%. In the ideal world, I wouldn't have a job. You know, we would live in some sort of community where no crimes are being committed. But when you compare us to the national average, when you compare us to other similarly sized communities, our numbers are very, very low. So per resident, we're at about half the national rate for crimes occurring. We're less than half the rate of Maricopa County. We're about a third of the rate that's in Pima County. So from a safety perspective, these are very good numbers. It means our community is safer than the average U.S. citizen, safer than anybody else in the state of Arizona. So the biggest one is weapons. We have seen year over year over year an increase in weapons-related crimes. Obviously, that's very troubling. It's hard for me to give a number. You know, obviously, I would love to see the trend that we've continued where we see a decrease. I would love to see less weapons charges, but we want to hold people accountable. I don't want to see numbers pop up and us fudging them. The question you asked earlier is, how do you know that you're not just charging less, you're just choosing not to do it? That defeats the purpose. Our office is data informed, not data driven. So we'll engage in things, we'll focus on things, we'll potentially offer diversion to people. And what we do is we offer diversion, and then we look back afterwards and say, have these people been successful? What's worked, what hasn't worked? Data helps us either validate or find out what we're doing is not working. We're not data driven though. We're not specifically trying to get a number, because that can lead to bad habits. If we want to, for example, say, I want less weapons offenses charged, well, we could just charge less weapons offenses. That does nothing for community safety. This office is community safety and public safety driven. That's our first and greatest priority to the community.